All of you are aware that earth has got a lot of natural resources, out of which soil is an important natural resource. Soil is an essential component for the survival of all biotic resources. It is serving as a natural medium for plants to grow and the organisms to survive. Soil is one of the most important and essential natural resource. Soils are influenced by the geological, climatological and environmental factors like parent materials, temperature, rainfall, organisms and topography. All these factors are acting over the soils for a period of time. The properties of soils differ based on the parent rocks. The parent rocks control the morphological, physical and chemical properties of soils. Soils are the reservoirs of nutrients and for supplying water to the plants and crops. The major components of soil include the mineral matter, organic matter, water and the air. Their proportions vary from place to place and from one type of soil to the other type of soil. The amount of mineral and organic matter are relatively fixed at a single site. The proportion of air and water in soils fluctuate from place to place. Air and water together account for almost half of the volume of the soils. Study of soils and their properties are needed for several reasons in geology, engineering geology, agronomy, agricultural practices and development studies. Soils are the products of mineral weathering reactions. Soil formation is a set of complex processes including physical and chemical transformation of the parent rocks. The processes of soil formation include the addition of organic and mineral species, the loss of these materials from the soil, the translocation of materials from one place to the other and the transformation of mineral and organic substances within the soil itself. The word pedogenesis refers to the process of soil development. It is a process in which the living organisms of soil bring about changes in the geochemical, biochemical and biophysical properties of the soils. During this process, various compounds are added to the mineral content of the soils. The organisms involved are lichens, bacteria, fungi, algae and mollusks. Weathering refers to the physical and chemical disintegration and decomposition of rocks which are not under equilibrium but under the role of temperature, pressure and moisture conditions. The agents of physical weathering which are responsible for the breakdown of rocks are the temperature, water, wind, plants and animals. The chemical composition of rocks is brought out by solution, hydration, hydrolysis, carbonation, oxidation and reduction. The process of soil formation involves two stages as weathering and soil development, that is known as the pedogenesis. Let us see the factors affecting soil formation. Both genetic and environmental factors affect the process of soil formation. They are governed by the parent rocks, their interaction with climate, topography and organic life. These are divided into passive and active factors of soil formation. If we look at the passive factors, the passive factors are parent rocks, topography that is related to the relief. The physical constitutions of the parent rock material has a profound effect in soil formation. It influences the soil aeration, leaching and the texture of the soils. Landforms are the reflections of topography and relief, and the relief plays a significant role in soil formation. Slopes are the limiting factors of soil formation. Steep slopes discourage soil development. Erosion and moss wasting also prevent the situation on the slopes to form the soils on the slopes. Time is an important factor in soil formation. Time controls the formation of the soils. It may take several hundreds to thousands of years for a mature soil to develop. 1 foot of soil formation may take 10,000 years. The active factors of soil erosion are two major aspects as climate and living organisms. Climate has the major impact on the physical and chemical weathering. Climate affects soil formation. It regulates the amount of water entering the soil and plant growth. Macro and microclimates of a region is responsible for the formation and transformation of a soil. Living organisms play a significant role. Soil microbiology is the scientific study of living organisms present in the soil. The macro and mesofauna also affect and modify the soil properties through various activities like burrowing, transporting and mixing of organic and inorganic compounds. If we look at the processes in soil formation involves 4 important processes like laterization, melanization, parsolization and glycation. Laterization is the process occurring in tropics under high temperature and high rainfall. Unstable silicate minerals lose silica during this process. Melanization is a process in which humus content mixes with the soil and water in A horizon and thereby making it very dark. Parsolization is a process wherein acidic litter dissolves mineral and humus of A horizon and leach them down to lower layers. We will be seeing about this A horizon later. Glycation is a process happening due to the waterlogging of soils in humid climates. Soils turn blue-grey color due to ferrous compounds and decomposition of the organic matter. Soil profile is an important aspect while studying the soil science. Soil profile is the vertical section of soil through all its horizons and it extends up to the parent materials. Understanding of soil development and soil formation needs the study of soil profile. The thickness of soil profile may go up to 1 meter in deep soils. Based on the morphological characteristics like color, texture and structure, the layers or horizons in the soil profile are distinguished. These are also varying in different places and also in their thicknesses. A layer of soil which lies more or less parallel to the ground surface with distinct properties of soils is known as soil horizon. These properties include the physical properties, chemical properties and organic content. Color is a dominant physical property and it is an important factor for zonation of soils. A typical soil profile may have 2 distinct major horizons as organic horizon and mineral horizons. Organic horizon, that is called as O horizon, overlies the mineral horizon. It contains all plant and animal remains, humus and other organic matter. O horizon is an important horizon. Generally, the profile consists of 3 to 5 mineral horizons. O horizon is the topmost horizon of a soil profile containing humus content, leaves and other plant materials. It is followed by A horizon. This is the uppermost mineral horizon. It is rich in organic matter. It is a zone with roots and downward movement of humus content. A horizon is followed by E horizon. This zone contains clay particles and oxides of aluminum and iron. The letter E for this E horizon comes from eluviation. Eluviation is a process in which water leaches these constituents downward, leaving the sand and silt at the topmost layer. Then it is followed by the B horizon. B horizon receives the clay particles, aluminum and iron oxides and organic matter coming from the upper layers of the soil horizons. Then it is followed by the C horizon. C horizon is the lowest layer of soil profile consisting mostly of parent material. It lies just above the consolidated bed rocks. It does not contain any organic material. Let us see the properties of soils, which we call them as soil characteristics. The properties of soils include mineral matter, soil water, soil air, soil microbes and organic matter. Mineral matter is an important constituent. It refers to the mineral species of soils that are derived from the parent rocks below. Soil water is an important property. All water contained in the soil together with its dissolved salts, liquids and gases are called as soil water. It is a solution containing many organic and inorganic compounds which are the sources for plants to obtain the mineral nutrients. Soil air is also an important property. The pore spaces present in the soils are filled with soil air. This gets released as soil smack after rain. Soil microbes are important constituents. Soils have a distinct flora and fauna. Soils contain 5 major groups of microorganisms. They include bacteria, actinomycetes, fungi, algae and protozoans. The organic matter present in the soils are controlling several other activities of the soils. Humus is the organic matter derived from the addition of materials from the organisms above and below the ground. Soils are characterized by their own physical, chemical and biological properties as we have seen now. The physical properties include soil texture, soil structure, the color of the soil, the thickness of the soil, the porosity of the soil, the permeability of the soil, soil moisture, soil acidity, alkalinity and soil salinity, and finally the soil fertility. The chemical properties of soil include the mineral matter and their composition, the inorganic components, the ion exchange and the base saturation. The biological properties of soils include the humus content, the organic compounds, the nitrogen and carbon ratios and the microbiology of soils. Let us see the soil texture. The soil texture refers to the size and organization of particles in the soils. They differ in size from gravel and sand to fine clay. Soil particles are normally packed very loosely, forming a soil structure filled with pore spaces. These pore spaces contain soil solution and also the soil air. The ranges of diameter of soil particles are varying. When the diameter of these soil particles are greater than 2 millimeters, we call them as gravel. If the diameter of the soil particles, if they range from 1 to 2 millimeters, then we call them as very coarse sands. If the diameter of the soil particles ranges from 0.5 to 1 millimeter, then we will call them as coarse sands. If it ranges from 0.25 millimeter to 0.5 millimeters, then we call them as medium sands. If the diameter of the particles range from 0.25 to 0.1 millimeters, then we call them as fine sands. If they are ranging from 0.05 to 0.1 millimeters, then we call them as very fine sands. If the soil particles are ranging from 0.02 to 0.05 millimeters, then we call them as silts. The textural classification of soils is attempted using these size grades. Based on the major textural classes, soils are classified as follows. Sandy soils, when we have 85% sand and 15% clay or silt. Loamy sand, when the soil contains 70% sand and 30% clay or silt. Clayey loam, when the soil contains 50% sand and 50% clay or silt. And silty soil, when it contains 90% sand and 10% clay or silt. Soil texture influences soil water and soil air properties, the root penetration of plants. Let us see the next property, soil structure. Soil structure refers to the arrangement of soil particles within the mass, which we call it as soil matrix. Soil aggregates may have different shapes and structures. Prism, plate, blocks and spheroids are the common shapes seen in the soil structures. Soil structure is basically influenced by the texture and other factors like soil management, absorbed cations, microorganisms and variation of soil moisture content. Let us see the color of the soils. Color gives a clue to the soil conditions and important properties of the soils. Red, yellow or brown are the colors related to the degrees of oxidation, hydration and diffusion of iron oxides in soils. The mineral species and organic content of the soil determine the color of the soil. Dark brown or reddish soils bear their colors due to the presence of iron oxides. Dark soils are due to the rich carbon content with decayed organic matters. Thickness is an important soil property. The thickness of soils vary from place to place depending upon the parent rock and the role of the climate. In dry regions, they may be very thin. In humid regions, the thickness of the soil may be very high. Porosity and permeability are two more important properties of soils. Porosity is the amount of pore spaces present in the media. Permeability is the capacity of the horizon to move water. Sandy soils are very much permeable and well drained masses. Soil moisture is an essential property. It is essential for the plant growth. Water present in the soil controls the growth of the plants and yield of the crops. Water held in soils may be of the following nature. They may be hygroscopic water, capillary water and gravitational water. Soil acidity and alkalinity are important properties. pH controls both acidity and alkalinity of the soils. Increase in acidity encourages chemical weathering of the mineral matter. Increase in alkalinity produces scales and incrustation in the soils. Soil salinity is yet another parameter. Soil salinity refers to the amount of salt content present in the soils. Presence of more salts like NaCl makes the salinized soils. Once the soils are salinized, it is very difficult to restore them. Increase in salt content comes due to ion exchange between water and the soils. Soil fertility is an important property. The availability of organic matter is known as the soil fertility, which are helpful for plant growth, referred to as soil fertility. The humus content is represented by a mixture of decomposed or altered products of carbohydrates, fats, proteins, resins, wax and other substances. These complex compounds are gradually decomposed by the soil organisms into simple salts, carbon dioxide, water, organic acids, ammonia, methane and free nitrogen. Humus is soluble in water, that is why it moves down. There are several systems of soil classification proposed by various workers based on different criteria. Based on the mode of formation, soils are classified into residual soils and transported soils. Let us see residual soils. These are the soils formed due to simultaneous occurrence of weathering and pedogenesis at the same place. Transported soils. As the name implies, these are the transported weathered materials to another place by various geomorphological agents. Based on the nature of these agents, transported soils are named as colluvium, alluvium, moraines and loess. Let us see the classification of soils proposed by Dokuchayev. Russians developed and attempted to classify the soil types based on climate, vegetation and soil morphology. Dokuchayev has proposed a classification in the year 1900 which was widely used for several purposes. Soils are classified into three broad groups as zonal or normal soils, transitional soils and abnormal soils. Zones and soil types were identified based on climatic zones. The next important classification came from United States Department of Agriculture. The USDA classification of soil is a very important classification used by us. The classification scheme proposed by the USDA is based on the nature of parent materials and the climate. There are three levels in the scheme as order, suborder and grade soil groups. The order includes zonal, intrazonal and azonal soils. Suborder mainly refers to the ecosystems concerned. The grade soil groups are the main soil types including tundra soil, desert soil, chestnut soil, podzol soil, lateritic soil, saline soil, clay soils and lithosols. The most important soil groups are the following. The first one is the tundra soils. It is prevailing in cold climate, low temperature region, slow rate of evaporation, which have got brief growing season and have limited biological activity. The second one are podzols. These are ash soils. They occur in moist to cool climate of mid latitudes, mainly present in coniferous forests. They are poor in agricultural conditions. They are seen in Canada and North Canada regions. The third one is grey brown podzolic soils. They are intermediate soils between podzols and brown earths. The fourth one is prairie soils. We call them as brunisms. They are dark colored soils beneath the temperature grasslands. Rich humus content is seen in these types of soils. Tall grasses grow in subhumid climatic conditions. The fifth one is Chernozems. They are black earth in Russian. They are fine fertile soils rich in plant foods. There is no need to add any fertilizers to these soils. They are good for cultivation of cereal crops. Sixth one is related to chestnut and brown soils. They are found in steppe areas with 20 to 25 centimeter rainfall. They are loose and friable soils with good humus content. Aridity is a factor for these soils. The seventh type is yellow and red humid subtropical soils which are occurring in humid tropical regions. The eighth category includes lateritic soils. These are occurring in hot and humid areas. They have deep soil profiles. They are yellow to red in color, rich in hydrated oxides of iron and aluminum. They show poor vegetation and they are deficient in humus content. The ninth category includes xerozems and desert soils. As the name implies, these are in the hot deserts, sandy texture and contain much salts in soils. they contain very little humus content. The United States Department of Agriculture also proposed the 7th approximation of soil groups, which is the latest modern classification which we use. The first one is related to oxysols. It covers about 9.2% of the world's land area. It is related to the lateritic soils prevailing in the tropical hot humid areas. The second one is aridisols. They are reddish desert soils. They are the soils of dry climate. They cover about 19.2% of the area of the world. They are found in hot dry zones. The third category relates to mollisols. These are grassland soils. They belong to subhumid climate. They cover about 9% of the world areas. The fourth category relates to alphisols. These are grey brown podzolic degraded Chernozem soils. They cover about 14.7% of the world areas. The fifth category includes ultisols. They are red to yellow podzolic lateritic soils. They cover 8.5% of the area in the world. They are in the highly weathered zones. They are found in subtropical forest soils. The sixth category includes spodosols. These are soils with subsurface alluvial accumulation of organic matter and compounds of aluminum and iron. They cover about 5.4% of the world's land area. The seventh category includes entisols. These are recent undeveloped soils. They cover about 12.5% of the world areas. They are common in many climatic zones. The eighth category includes inceptisols. They are weakly developed soils. They cover about 16% of the world areas. They are associated with moist conditions. They include glacial outwash materials and alluvium of floodplains. The ninth category includes andisols. These are the soils derived from volcanic parent materials. They possess a high water holding capacity. The 10th category includes vertisols. These are expendable clayey soils. They are present in subhumid to semi-arid climatic conditions. They are found in savanna and grasslands. The 11th category includes histosols. These are organic soils. They are found in lake beds, bogs and marshes, and these soils show ideal peat formation. Soil is an important natural resource. We have to conserve and preserve the properties of the soil resources which are supporting the human life.